Hey guys, what's up? It's Duckmec here and welcome back to episode 5 of Tank Legion. Today we are looking at the Protection Paladin. So this is going to be a very basic beginner guide to Protection Paladin, where I'm going to run you through everything. I'm going to set it out the way I set out the Warrior and the DK one. So jumping into it, guys, what kind of a tank is a Protection Paladin? So they're a sword and board and style tank, plate armor. They're a really solid tank in the fact that they have a number of abilities that they can use to smooth out damage that's incoming. They also have the ability to self-heal, and they've got that element of wizardry about them, like they attended Hogwarts. Can't believe I actually said that. That was really fucking lame. We're pushing on. So to break this down the same way I've done, we're going to start with core abilities, guys, and we're going to start from an offensive point of view. So Hammer of the Righteous or Blessed Hammer, if you talent it, will replace this, and we will go over both of them. So Hammer of the Righteous strikes the target for physical damage. If you use it while you're standing in your consecration, it will act as a frontal cone or a cleaving ability. Blessed Hammer, if you take it, will replace Hammer of the Righteous, and that will throw a magic hammer around you that will deal damage to all enemies it hits. It will also reduce the damage that they do to you on the next auto attack by 15%. It's got 3 charges, so pretty much it's a pseudo 15% damage reduction from all auto attacks you're going to be taking. Judgment deals holy damage, reduces the remaining cooldown on Shield of the Righteous by 1 second for every normal hit or 2 seconds for a critical strike. Consecration is an area of effect we put on the ground. It deals holy damage for 12 seconds and buffs a number of our own abilities by standing in it and using them. Avenger's Shield hurls your shield at a target. It interrupts and silences them for 3 seconds. It also jumps to 2 additional targets. And Avenging Wrath is both a defensive and offensive cooldown. It's got a 20-second duration. It increases your damage and healing done by 35%, and it is on a 2-minute CD, so it's quite powerful. So that is pretty much it for the offensive core toolkit you're going to be using on your Protection Paladin. Getting into the defensive side of thing, we have our main active mitigation ability, which is Shield of the Righteous. So every time you've got DBM going or bigwigs or whatnot and tells you to use a defensive, this is what you are going to be pressing, guys, Shield of the Righteous. It's got 3 charges, and each time you use it, you get 4.5 seconds of that damage reduction. The amount of damage reduction you are going to do scales off your Mastery Divine Bulwark. So Shield of the Righteous, it also damages your target. It reduces both physical and magic damage, which makes it hugely powerful. Its effect is also increased by 20% if you use it whilst you are standing in your consecration. So you want to keep that in mind and you want to try and line that up. So Mastery Divine Bulwark increases the damage reduction from your Shield of the Righteous. It scales off your Mastery. It also increases your chance to block melee attacks. It also increases your attack power. Light of the Protector, guys, heals you for 35% of your missing health, and missing health is the important part there. And I'll talk about that a little more as we go on, because there was a lot of confusion around Light of the Protector when it first came out. Guardian of the Ancient Kings is our big cooldown. It's 50% damage reduction for 8 seconds. It's on a 5-minute cooldown. Ardent Defender reduces all damage taken by 20% while it's active. It also causes the first killing blow against you to heal you back to 12% of your maximum health. It's basically Paladin Purgatory, so it lasts 8 seconds and it's on a 2-minute cooldown. Lay on Hands is just a big ass heal with a 10-minute cooldown. Causes forbearance. Divine Shield creates a bubble around you, making you immune to all damage for 8 seconds, so you can hearth out of your shit raid. Hand of Reckoning is the Paladin's Taunt. And lastly, Eye of Tyr. This is the Artifact ability. And again, it has offensive and defensive capabilities, but the real highlight of this one is its defensive capability. It causes damage to all nearby enemies, and it causes all nearby enemies to deal 25% less damage to you for 9 seconds. Or 25% less damage, for 9 seconds. So it is insanely powerful. It is a fucking great tanking artifact. We also have blessings that I'm going to tack onto the end here. So we have Blessing of Protection, which places a blessing on a party or raid member. It protects them from all physical attacks for 10 seconds. Can't be used on targets with forbearance. It also causes forbearance for 30 seconds. And Blessing of Sacrifice, which is a 2.5-minute cooldown, places a blessing on a party or raid member, whoever you cast it on. It transfers 30% of the damage they're taking to you over 12 seconds, or until the transferred damage would cause you to fall below 20% health. So another really powerful blessing cooldown that we have to divert damage from somebody if they're maybe getting a focus, that you can mitigate more of that damage than them. So that is pretty much it for the offensive and defensive toolkit, guys. So moving into the talent section now. But just before I get started on talents, know that there are lots of options and there are lots of opinions out there, and this goes for any tank guide I do. What I do is I play the class, I make my own picks, I then go and research all that. So I read a number of forum posts, things like Icy Vein, Wowhead, MMO Champ, the WoW forums, and other dedicated forums, like in Discord and things like that. What I then do is try and bring you the most consistent information out of all of that mess that I can find. So I try and give you the most consistent information that is out there. There's always going to be arguments for and against things, but I try and give you the most consistent consensus in regards to talents and artifact trait paths and things like that. So getting into the talents, guys, level 15, Blessed Hammer. This is certainly the best pick on the row. It provides you with a high uptime debuff. As I said, it gives you pretty much a pseudo 15% damage reduction to all auto attacks. It's also a great AoE threat pickup and generator as well. Holy Shield is certainly another option in the row, and it's a passive where you don't really have to do anything. It does have merit in high dot damage fights, but because Shield of the Righteous blocks out magic and physical damage, Blessed Hammer is really a better pick than Holy Shield. Level 30, Bastion of Light is definitely the best survival option, and the other two can be viable as DPS options. Bastion of Light provides 3 charges of Shield of the Righteous immediately off the bat. So it's a great trump card if you need extra mitigation, if you don't know a fight and you've run out of charges, or you just simply are in danger and you need to mitigate more damage. This is a fantastic ability to have. The other ones, if you outgear content or you just want more DPS, First Avenger is a better single target option, and Crusader's Judgment is a better AoE damage one for dungeons and things like that. Level 45, Blinding Light. This is pretty much the best choice in the row. It's extra damage, it's AoE crowd control when it's needed. In dungeons, it's a really solid choice. The other 2 options are stuns and can be used as required if you have a trash mob or something like that in particular that needs to be stunned, but otherwise Blinding Light's definitely the pick for 45. Level 60, Blessing of Spell Warding or Cavalier. So Blessing of Spell Warding pretty much makes you immune to all magic damage for 8 seconds, I think it is. Sorry, I don't have it written down, but it'll be on the screen. It's definitely the best choice. It's amazingly powerful, however, it will cause forbearance. Cavalier is also a strong option though, as it's a mobility boost, and the Paladin is quite weak in regards to its mobility toolkit, whereas Cavalier will give you 2 extra charges of Divine Steed. So both are solid options. Blessing of Spell Warding is probably a more powerful option though. Level 75, Knights Templar, Hand of Protector, or Final Stand. So there's a bit of choice in this one. Knights Templar is my favourite pick in the row. It reduces the cooldown on Divine Steed by 50%, so again it kind of helps us out with our weak mobility kit. It also gives us another damage reduction ability, as when you use Divine Steed with Knights Templar, you get an extra 20% damage reduction while you're on that. So you can use it not only as a mobility, but you can use it as a defensive cooldown as well for that extra 20%. Hand of the Protector replaces Light of the Protector. It pretty much allows you to use that ability on a friendly target. It also again benefits from Consecration, making the heal bigger, which Light of the Protector does as well, and it reduces the cooldown to 10 seconds. Final Stand, again, is a really powerful cooldown as well. Can be used as an AoE taunt. It makes you immune to damage for 8 seconds as well. The only drawback is it has a longer cooldown, but if there was a mechanic that you needed to cheese, or if you were having trouble picking up lots of adds or something like that in a dungeon or a raid, it could be a really useful talent. Level 90, guys, Judgment of Light is certainly my pick here. It's steady healing, it's extremely easy to use, and I'm trying to give you the easiest setup I can for this. So Judgment of Light's pretty much my hand pick here. Aegis of Light is going to be much better in a raiding environment, I think, and even if there's something in a Mythic Plus that calls for it. It provides 20% damage reduction to those standing behind you within 10 yards, whilst your ability is active. Judgment of Light you can also apply to multiple targets and things like that. So Judgment of Light's certainly my pick, but as you get more advanced and into more advanced content, Aegis of Light will probably have some real uses to it. Level 100, Righteous Protector or Last Defender. So again, some choice here. Righteous Protector is the best single target survival option we have. It causes your Shield of Righteous to reduce the cooldown on Light of the Protector and Avenging Wrath. so it allows for more healing and better options to recover from big damage. Last Defender is the best AoE survival option. Each enemy within 8 yards of you reduces the damage that you're going to take and increases the damage that you deal by 3%. The problem is it has diminishing returns on it. However, in a dungeon, it's going to have really strong application, and it probably will be a really great pick in a dungeon, even for beginners as well. Sephram's the DPS option in this row. It's going to use your charge as a Shield of the Righteous to activate, so I probably wouldn't recommend this if you are learning the class or if you're a beginner. If you want more DPS, it's certainly a great option, but you're obviously sacrificing your mitigation along with that. Bastion of Light plays really well into that with the extra 3 charges, but Sephram is certainly a DPS option, and not one that I would recommend if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know the fight. So that is it for talents, guys. So moving on to what buttons do you push? So in regards to a rotation, Paladins have a priority system rather than a rotation as such. A single target one is going to look like Judgment first, Consecration, and then Avenger's Shield. Your Avenger's Shield can be also be refreshed via Grand Crusader, which is up on the screen now. So you need to watch out for those procs to make sure you're using it, but generally your priority is Judgment, Consecration, Avenger's Shield. If you've taken Blessed Hammer, what I'd be doing is throwing Blessed Hammer in as a filler, so every time you're waiting on one of those abilities to come up, I'd be throwing your Blessed Hammer. It'll give you that high uptime on that 15% damage reduction on auto attacks. You can also change this and throw Judgment first, then the Blessed Hammer to get that damage reduction up straight away, then Consecrate, then Avenger's Shield, and then Blessed Hammer start fill again. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're tanking adds, if you're AoE tanking, the priority changes slightly. So Avenger's Shield's your number 1 priority, then Consecration, then Hammer of Righteous or Blessed Hammer, but we're going to say Blessed Hammer because that's what you've talented. So AoE, Avenger's Shield, Consecration, Blessed Hammer, and Judgment last. One thing I really do want to make mention of, and I mentioned at the start, was about Light of the Protector. So there was a lot of confusion when Light of the Protector was first introduced. It heals for 35% of your missing health. So whatever HP you are missing from your max health, it will heal for 35% of that missing amount. So you generally want to use it when you are at low HP. Don't go wasting it at high health, as otherwise you're going to get a really pissy small heal. Use it when you're 50% and sort of below is what I would be encouraging you to use that heal for. And that is pretty much it, guys, in regards to buttons you are going to be pressing. So moving on to the stats now. Survivability standpoint, which is very much what I'm trying to pitch here. Versatility and haste are our best options, followed by mastery. If you're wanting a heavier damage build, you can go haste, crit, mastery, but mastery is always going to be third. Remember what I said about mastery, divine bulwark. But versatility and haste are the two that I'm pushing for people to push for in regards to that survivability standpoint, and certainly from a learner perspective. Versatility will increase all your damage and healing done, and it decreases all the damage taken, so it's pretty straightforward. A lot of the fights in Legion, in the dungeons and things like that, are very magic based, so this gives this stat quite a lot of weight. Haste reduces your global cooldown. It also reduces a hell of a lot of the abilities that a paladin relies on that goes into their playtime. So by stacking, the more haste you get, the more Shield of Righteous you're going to have, the less damage you're going to be taking, and everything sort of ties into that. So onto the artifact now. Now, I'm going to be very upfront with this artifact. This is the most fucked up artifact trait tree path I have ever seen, but this is the most consistent one that I've found, but it is utterly fucked up. Whoever thought of this is a douche hat. There are 7 paths for the optimal paladin artifact trait tree. 7. Most of the ones I've seen have been 5. This has fucking 7. The 3 major traits on the Paladin Artifact, or on Tyr's Enforcer, on the Paladin Artifact. The first one is Tyr's Enforcer. The knowledge of the Watchers causes Truth Guard to damage all enemies within 5 yards of each target hit by Avenger's Shield. The second one is Bulwark of the Order. Avenger's Shield also shields you for 8 seconds, absorbing 50% as much damage as it dealt. And the third one, which we don't go after until path number 6, is Light of the Titans, where Light of the Protector will also heal for 500% of your attack power over 15 seconds. So, 7 paths in total, guys. I'm going to do the same thing I've always done. I'm going to click through them on the screen for you. I'm going to have the pathway up next to it as well. So starting off, guys, for number 1, we're going to head for Tyr's Enforcer, which is pretty much the order I read them out is what we're going for. So we're starting off here at Eye of Tyr. We're coming down. I'm not going to read out all these minors either. You guys can go through them. It'll just take me too much time. We're going to come up to our first one. So that, guys, is path number 1. Path number 2 now, we're coming back down here to Righteous Crusader. Coming down here, we're going to pick up our second major, which is Bulwark of the Order. The third path now, we're coming back over to Truthguard, and we're going to fill out Scatter the Shadows, and we're going to come up to Unflinching Defense. That is the third path. The fourth path, we're heading back over here to pick up Painful Truths. The fifth path, we're heading back down here to Scatter the Shadows, and we're going to pick up Sacrifice of the Just. The sixth path, we're heading to Unflinching Defense, and we're going to take Bastion of Truth, and we're going to come down and get Light of the Titans. And then lucky number 7, guys, we're going to finish up with Forbearant Faithful and Stern Judgment to finish. So that, guys, is the 7, that's the optimal artifact trait tree path to take. That is the most consistent one that I found in regards to sort of the optimal way to go after your mages and your miners. But again, there's a lot of arguments out there for whichever way to go, and do it your own way, but that is certainly the most consistent I found in the suggestion I am giving you. You've then got your Paragon system down here, which you'll just fill out, and you can see the crazy amount of artifact power stacking up there. So they're on to relics now. So there are 3 relics, as there are on all the weapons. Holy, Iron, and Arcane. Arcane will, of course, be locked until you finish your class campaign, and as I do in every single guide, make sure you start your class campaign as early as possible and keep progressing through it, because this third relic slot is a huge fucking boost to you. Not only in item level, but just in regards to your ability as a class to get through content. The third relic slot is huge. And you can see on the screen now, this is what the quest chain looks like, so get started on it early, guys. In regards to relics, what you want to chase, survivability again, which is the big one I'm pushing. Faith's Armor is the strongest defensive one you can go after, and Scatter the Shadows also increases your self-healing. If you're after more damage, Consecration in Flame is probably the best option. So there's lots of other relics, but they're probably the top 3 that I would really push you to chase for your relic, for your artifact, sorry. And that is pretty much it, guys. I'm pretty sure I have covered off everything. If there is anything that I missed, please do hit me up in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you out. As with every tank class, guys, make sure you use your defensives early and things like that. Be proactive with your cooldowns. Don't wait to be at low health. And I say this again with every tank class I talk about. Try and make things as easy as you can for your healer. It's great that you can do damage and things like that, but while you're learning, and even once you've stopped learning, be proactive with your big cooldowns. If you know something big is coming, make sure you use a cooldown to smooth out that damage from high HP, rather than use it at low HP and have everyone scattering and scrambling to try and get you back up. So that is pretty much it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all for the next episode, where I don't even know what tank I'm going to do next, but I will let you know in the next one. See you later, guys.